what's up? I'm Rachel Starr, schizophrenic. So let's talk about tardive dyskinesia. What is it? Tardive dyskinesia is a side effect of a lot of different antipsychotic and antidepressant medications. It's characterized by excessive movement of the lips, tongue, and jaw, also by feelings of inner restlessness, rhythmic movements of the hands and feet, and shaking. It falls under EPS, symptoms of movement and muscle control problems. Also a form of drug-induced Parkinson's. Tardive dyskinesia occurs days to weeks after starting a new medication. Atypical antipsychotics tend to have a lower risk of developing it as a side effect. After stopping the medication, most people's symptoms will go away. However, 10 to 50% of people it is permanent. Much like antidepressants and antipsychotic medications, they don't really know how they work. They don't really know what causes tardive dyskinesia. A theory is that it's caused somehow by the dopamine being blocked from the medications. If you take any antidepressants or antipsychotics, you need to be checked once a year by a doctor using the Abnormal Involuntary Movement Scale exam, pretty much where they check to see if you're starting to have any signs of tardive dyskinesia. Then they know if they can take your medication down or maybe even switch you to a different one. A form for that is actually in the descriptions in a link. So check that out. You can easily print it off and take it to your next physical exam. Okay, so we're done with the shiny, nice part of the video. Okay, let's just actually talk some TD. So I started having issues with tardive dyskinesia back maybe, I don't know, 6 years ago. And I noticed it first, I don't know, I was doing something in my bed, I was reading or working on something, and I noticed my tongue was moving all around in my mouth like a snake. And I thought that was weird and I wasn't doing it. And pretty much it started from there. Then the shaking, and pretty much I would have really bad fits of shaking, to full on jerking movements. I'm pretty much constantly in pain in my neck, my shoulders up in here, jaw. I'm always popping my jaw, and I think it has a lot to do with that because when I'm not actively paying attention, apparently I do that stuff. Yay. It can be a little bit embarrassing. I've gotten to the point now where I'm used to it. I think I get more embarrassed about the shaking. Because it tends to come out at work and I'll be talking and shaking, so it looks like I'm nervous and I'm actually not. It's just suddenly I'm my hands are out of control, and it gets to the point where I can't even write, and it just looks like gibberish. And yeah, so that's really the only embarrassing thing. Sometimes in the gym I'll notice I'm doing it, the tongue thing with my mouth, and I'm thinking oh crap, how many people saw me over here thinking what am I doing? That's life. For me, I don't really know which medication caused it. I was on so many for so many years. They had me on tons of different antipsychotics trying to find one that worked. None of them really did. And then I was on a really high dosage of antidepressants. I was on the highest dosage of Prozac for years until it just couldn't work anymore. So I don't know which one caused it. It kind of comes and goes. It never fully goes away, but as far as the jerking motions, I notice when I mentally get off, so when I'm not as mentally here, the jerking, the full-on jerking movements come out more. I don't know, maybe that's just part as my brain gets weaker, whereas right now it's just I don't know why. I don't think it's gonna go away. I'm pretty sure I got it. It may get worse. I mean, I'm still on 4 different antidepressants right now. This is my little flag I'm waving. Woo. So it's not it could get a lot worse just because of that, but I definitely don't see it going anywhere. I'm fine with that, I've kind of accepted it now. It just happens. Rachel shakes. Rachel does weird tongue stuff. Oh, with the tongue stuff, I only notice it when I'm in my MMA class because we have to wear mouth guards because we do a lot of sparring and stuff. And I notice it in there because I keep flipping it out of my mouth. I'll just constantly, it's kind of just going all around in my mouth like the guard. And that's the only time I can myself notice it. So these are actually some clips, I found of me exhibiting this while I was filming. And again, usually the mouth stuff comes out when I'm like doing some sort of like physical activity, right? Where like my body, I'm like focusing my body on doing something. What's really interesting is how I go from doing it, I then talk, and then I go like right back into doing it with like out skipping a beat. Kind of move around, come in, out, you know, make it interesting. Don't just... Okay. Researching, the other thing that kind of stood out to me, I had no idea this was a form of Parkinson's. I'd never heard of drug-induced Parkinson's in my life. That just kind of like really threw me, just how Tardive is actually very close to Parkinson's and Huntington's. And that was just like really crazy. It just never occurred to me. And the fact that there were multiple types of Parkinson's and one of them was the drug-induced kind. I do know there are some medications you can take for TD, but I don't push them or anything because I've never taken them. And if you're like me, I don't want any more medications. Like I have the TD as a side effect from a medication, so I'm kind of worried about what side effect I'm going to get from that new medication. Like this was a big one. So yeah, that I don't know. I haven't tried any of the medications. I do know they have some out now. I've heard people tell you, oh, you should meditate and stuff like that, but like, it doesn't really bother me enough to do that. Now, at what point, let's say the jerking, let's say, was happening all the time, the tongue thing got to the point where I like couldn't eat or even like talk, then yes, I would totally be open to let's find some medication for this. At what point, like I've gotten like, I need help with this, like it's affecting my life, then yeah, I totally will jump on that medication train. But right now, I don't feel like mine's bad enough to really go through anything else on top of what I'm already going through with schizophrenia and depression. It's been really crazy for me because the Tardive, I mean, I had to go to my doctor and say, hey, this has been happening to me. And he was like, oh yeah, that happens. And I'm like, okay, like at no point, no doctor, no psychiatrist, psychologist, no normal doctor, no therapist, all who knew I was taking all these medications ever said anything to me that I could develop this. I could develop Tardive. And that's crazy to me, especially when 80% of people apparently develop some form. Like, that blows my mind. Like, that really blows my mind. And I'm not saying don't take antidepressants or antipsychotics, because for me, I'm still on them. But I think it's very important for someone who's getting treated for something to be aware that it could happen. So when it does happen, you don't like freak out, especially if you're being treated for schizophrenia. But yeah, it's been interesting though to me how many people over the past like 2-3 years like have come to me with questions about TD and stuff, and been pulling up past videos where I've touched on it, and just been like so many people having it, and that's pretty crazy. Also, that form I mentioned, that exam, no one has ever talked to me or given me that exam in my life. I found that when I was like Googling the exact definitions of stuff to make this video, and I found that exam and I was like, what is this? Like that's crazy to me. And it's such a, like if you read over the exam, it's like a super easy thing to do. It's not like like some crazy, like you're running a mile, like they're literally like just checking for things. It's just crazy. So yeah, I'm Rachel Starr. Thank you so much for watching. Maybe you learned some new facts about Tardive Dyskinesia. I don't know. Like, share, subscribe for more mental health and badass stunt videos. Bye. Lips, tongue, and jaw. Lips, tongue, and jaw. Lips, tongue, and jaw. Excessive movement of the lips, tongue, and jaw.